So Graham Brown here from Asia Matters Minute, and let's talk one thing that people often mention when we talk about Asia and technology, especially when we talk about the subjects in Asia Tech Podcast, and that is copycats. And there's been a history, obviously, of China copying what the rest of the world has done, and sometimes knocking it out cheaper, more recently knocking it out better. And people look at that and say, well, you know, that's Asia. They're just a bunch of copycats and cheap warehouses and garments and knockoffs and so on. But things are changing. And I want to sort of make 2 points. Firstly, things are changing. And they're moving from being copycats to learning how to master this technology and actually being better at it. And we're going to start seeing this, for example, now in the mass infrastructure projects like high-speed rail, but also in future with automotive, AI, fintech, payment systems, so on, mobile. But the second point I want to make is that that's how every big economy got its start. I mean, look at Japan. Japan copied the rest of the world in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And, you know, look at the automotive. They looked at Detroit and they said, this is how we're going to do it. And they copied it and they made it better. And it's the same with the US. The US looked at the rest of the world back in the earlier 20th century and copied what they were doing. So, you know, the US automotive industry, you take Ford, for example, they got their ideas from France and Germany. So copying is not the sign of some kind of insidious or weak economy. It's basically how every economy gets up that curve. And it's just a sign of progress, because once they copy, they create capital. Once they create capital, they create innovation. And before you know it, they're ahead. And that's what's happening now. So when people talk about Copycat China, they're talking about China that was maybe 10, 20 years ago. Things are changing. And that's why Asia matters.